Hi, Kyle from Infidelity here at CanJam, Southern California, 2015. I'm in the members room talking to OJneg and Bill. OJneg, how you doing? Good to see you. Bill, good to see you guys. Let's get a little rundown of what you got on the table here. We'll start with you, OJneg.
So right now I got two different systems going on. I got the Marant CD player going SP diff into both the Hilo, Lynx Hilo,
And I'm also on the forum.
and the Gugnir, shit Gugnir. And then from there I'm going analog.
You know what's funny is everybody has sort of different pronunciations of the shit gear's names.
Some people say shite, right? Not shit. Because they want to avoid like saying the word.
Yeah, and then I got Gugnir or Hilo into the Mjolnir. My other system is this little guy, the Gamma 2, corrected by the Weird.
Yeah, that's the USB conditioning gadget.
The D-Shitifier.
The G-Shitifier. How do you like it?
I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, that's what I keep on hearing people say, that they can pretty clearly hear a
I think
difference.
there is a difference, especially, but it depends on the deck. It depends on what deck you're going to use with it.
And
It might not make a difference.
does it kind of depend on the computer too, and how clean its USB is?
My
And
computer is kind of glitchy already, so it does help in that regard.
huh?
Yeah, and then I got analog out into the ECP Torpedo. This is a pretty popular DIY amp, I think. And I had another amp, but it's not here. But yeah, so that's my tube amp right there. Like
ECP?
Yeah, ECP, like the Doug,
Doug?
like the L2.
Yeah. He does some DIY stuff.
Yeah, he made this.
Oh, I guess yeah. Cool. Yeah, he does some great designs.
The L2 is pretty good.
Yeah. I heard the L2, and man, it was beautiful on the HT800. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Cool. And that's your rigs going on here. And then what's this Gustard right
Yeah,
here?
someone else brought the Gusto. We just lined it up there.
Cool. This is a very typical table here with wires and cables everywhere. All right, Bill's rig.
You want to talk about headphones or 800s?
Oh,
800s, LCD2, and 600s. But yeah, that's what I got here.
600's cool. And Bill. I measured some of Bill's headphones a little while ago. Yeah. Which ones did I measure?
I think you measured this one, the ES10, Audio-Technica ES10.
Ah, okay. I did measure that. Okay.
So this was a very unique project for me, I would say, because that was the first time that I ever tried a mod headphone to this extent.
Huh.
Essentially, I kept just the drivers, but I changed the ear cup, the headband, the ear pads, and also the cables.
So you lifted up the steering wheel and changed the car underneath it.
Yeah.
Or
I kept the engine.
the engine, right? That's probably the better analogy. Cool. What else you got?
I also have an LCD2, just like OJneg, but this one I modified because, well, I didn't like certain aspects of the stock sound of the Odyssey headphone, and I thought it might work better if I tried to dampen it a little bit to give it extra clarity at the top end. So that was what I was trying to shoot for, and I think I was fairly successful with that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, people's impressions have been very positive.
Cool.
In that regards.
Cool.
And then, well, I also have a Biodynamics DT770.
Right?
Yeah. This one, a little bit too bright, too much high frequency content. You can see that on Tao's graphs very clearly. So I tried to dampen that as best as I can. I think I was also fairly successful with that.
Actually, I think the thing that I most recently measured of yours was the Sony's,
MDR-Z7.
the MDR-Z7. So this one, Bill's MDR-Z7s.
Yep, very luxurious headphone. Really nice build and finish. Very nice, comfy ear pads, and I think they got the tuning almost right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very well done headphone, I would say. If they had just toned the bass down, or at least not made it too bloated, I think it would have been an awesome headphone.
Yeah, I have the same impression of this headphone. I think it's an absolutely spectacular headphone, 95% done.
Yeah.
And then they needed to spend a little more time tweaking it and doing a few damping things and stuff. But it's a very interesting headphone. I think it's a great headphone for DIYers. Yeah, great headphone.
It's awesome. In fact, ever since Tao got them back to me and I heard the sound again, I actually got the itching to get it even further. So I damped it even more.
Did you?
Yeah. So now I think I've got it to be very nice.
Well, if you'd like to send it back and have me measure it again, I'd be happy to do that for you. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. And anything else on your side of the world here?
Yeah, definitely. Here is a Todd Vinyl Junkie Millet Hybrid headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tube amp.
Yeah.
there are two tubes in here. They are hearing aid tubes.
Hearing aid tubes.
Yeah, so they.
I didn't know they were hearing aid tubes. I know they're really small. I've seen the tubes before.
Yeah,
But.
so what they are tubes that people would use to create hearing aid devices for folks. And
Back in the day, though.
Yeah, back in the days. But well, the nice thing about them is that they run much with much less power.
Right.
Yeah, they require much less power than regular tubes. So
Right.
you can fit them in a portable enclosure, and they last a long time in battery, and they sound nice, just like any other tube.
Yeah.
After you tune them.
The tricky part, from my understanding from Pete, is that there's a limited number of these tubes in the world right now, and eventually they're just going to run out. Yeah.
So when I first got this from my friend, there was a channel imbalance, and also some things wrong with the tube microphonic, because tubes actually kind of ring if you tap the the enclosure. So I opened it up, and then I took a look at the circuits board, and I thought, well, what would happen if I tried to modify the capacitors a little bit? Because tube amps typically have some distortions fed into the signal chain, right? So if you mess around with the capacitors in the signal chain, it'll add and change the distortion mechanism that's going on in there, and I think it got a nicer sound.
Oh, cool, cool. All right. Well, great job on the gear. It's always great to see you guys at the show. Now the question is, I want to ask you some questions about the community. Tell us about your relationship to the community, where you hang out, what do you talk about, why is it something you bother doing?
Yeah, there's a few. I don't know. I'd say I got into audio because at one point I realized some of my MP3s sound worse than others, and I started noticing music started different. So then then this happened.
Yeah.
I started spending all this money like an idiot. but mainly I'd say I'm into the community for my own enjoyment, but I also want to be with friends. So there's a few forums. I like to browse Headfi. I like to browse Changstar. I like to browse Reddit or Headphones. I'm a moderator there.
Are you?
Yeah.
Reminds you when I email you.
So there's a lot of different forums that you can meet people. You discover how you might have similarities in taste with the audio gear and stuff. So that's why I'm in the hobby, at least. That answers your question.
You like the social aspect and meeting other people with similar interests and stuff like that?
Once I get to know someone's tastes well enough, I don't even have to listen to the gear. I can ask them, hey, what'd you think? And they, oh, I didn't like it, or I did like it. And then I can kind of calibrate what the gear was based on their taste.
Right.
So it's also a utilitarian thing. Get to know people. It helps you figure out what you want.
Right. And Bill, what do you think? What's your relationship with the community, and how is it integrated into your life?
Yeah, so I originally joined the headphone community mostly out of curiosity, I would say, because I was listening to headphone one day and I was like, is there a nicer way to listen to these songs that I have on my devices, right? Is there a nicer headphone than the one I currently have? So that's what got me into the hobby, and eventually I met great friends within the community, and they sort of got me inspired to try different gears. And at the end of it, I saw, I've listened to a lot of headphones so far, and the one thing that kept bugging me was actually the sound of different headphones, and also the different sounds of the amplifiers, and also the digital converters. I kept wondering, so my subjective impressions would tell me something is going on with all of these things to make them create that difference in their presentation of the songs that I have. But I wanted to understand exactly why, so that's what got me into DIYing all of my gears and trying to modify and tuning them, understanding the physical aspects of what makes the sound from those headphones the way they are, and also what makes the sound from the amplifiers the way they are. Yeah, and trying to understand all of it, because I think.
And your interaction with the community gives you the access to people who have done a lot of this stuff before and batting things back and forth. You guys go to the meets here in LA?
Going to meets for like 2 years now.
And Bill, how long?
This is actually the first time I've been down in South California, and I must say.
Oh, really? Where are you from? Where do you live?
I live in the Bay Area.
Oh, in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Have you been to a meet up there?
Yeah, I've been to 3 meets up there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny how the vibe is a little bit different around the country when you go to the different meets. You know, and the New York meet is a little different, and Northern California and Southern California. Southern California, of course, it has just blown up. It's amazing how big these guys down here.
North, and there's a lot of vendors, or not a lot of members showing up there.
Right.
You see multiple, they got a lot of members up there.
So now let me ask you, what types of things would you like to see in the community that are different than what you see now, or do you see anything that's disturbing to you, or?
So mainly just encourage more member interaction, get more people to meets to listen to different gear, not less vendor action, more member action. That's what I think.
Do you think there has to be less vendor action, or that there just has to be more?
Yeah, sure. Either way it works.
Right. I have to say I agree with you, and it's why I'm covering you guys at this show and not really. Well, I have the choice. There's not very much time here at this show, and I got 4 talks that I'm doing. So, but I want to cover this because I agree with you that we have to find another balance again where there is a strong participation from the members, because it's you guys that. Well, you are one of the corners of the activity.
We built the hobby.
Right, exactly. Cool.
I would agree with him.
Yeah.
More member interaction, much less vendors.
Do you think there has to be less vendors, though? You said
balance, relative.
Yeah, it
Right.
has to be balanced out, because at this meet, us 9 in this room are basically it.
Right.
In terms of all the members showcasing.
Right.
I think there should have been more of that. I mean, just so that it balances out, because we have
Huge tents.
Yeah.
Huge tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to tell you that I did spend some time talking to Warren this morning, and you know, one of the issues was the time constraints of doing it this the first time, and they are very, very strongly focused on increasing member activity at this type, the CanJams
Yeah,
in the
Warren's the one
future.
who invited us all here, so Warren knows what he wants to do.
Yeah, he's dynamite. Warren is aces in my book. All right, well, you guys, thanks, Bill. Good to see you here. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, OJ, and you guys have fun.
Yep.
All right, and we'll see you guys at the next member table.